My name's David Eisen. I'm the managing editor of Hotel Management Magazine based in New York. So welcome everyone to the roundtable. Thank you for joining us for some spirited discussion. I thought the best thing to do, I think, is to go around. Everyone can introduce themselves, your company. Maybe you can talk about one digital initiative that you're working on right now to kind of lead it off. So you'd like to start?
Debbie Bingham, Vice President Business Development for Vegas.com. And the digital initiative we're working on now is working on our PTAP for social media. Trying to make all those customers who are talking about us, booking on us.
Can you hear me?
Danielle Courtney, Chief Marketing Officer for Visit Orlando. And a couple is integrating and upgrading our social media and Facebook. Relaunching electronic brochures, customized brochures to create more engagement. And we're redoing some of our B2B websites.
Greg Dunn, Customer Insights and Brand Strategy at MMGY Global. As far as digital research, we're doing something called the Digital Traveler, which we're going into analysis phase and then production. We'll talk about that in more depth later on today and tomorrow. Otherwise, for our clients, as an agency in AOR, doing all kinds of new digital and applications and development, including one that I'm interested in a lot in is ROI calculation all the way through beyond just digital. So it's one of several initiatives.
Mike Terry with Attaway. Our major initiative is year 2. Just get it through the second year. It would be great.
Tara Sengel with Expedia Inc. And I would guess that most of our digital, if we're going into, is really 3 areas, which is social, search, and mobile. Those 3 technologies is what we're emerging into.
I'm Kelly Pulling. I'm the Vice President overseeing distribution strategy and e-commerce at Choice Hotels International. I would say a big area of focus for us is the continued evolution of our mobile platform. We were the first hotel company to launch an iPhone app and then launched a Droid app, and just this past May launched the iPad app. And so we're looking to continue to evolve our mobile platform, and part of that is thinking about how do we treat choicehotels.com in a completely device agnostic way. So how do we continue to evolve our consolidated platform of regular choicehotels.com, where I had someone refer to it as the other day as traditional internet. So the traditional internet, and the mobile platform and the mobile app. How do we ensure a consistent user experience regardless of what device? Because at some point, very soon, right, it's just going to be screen size, right, is the only thing that's going to matter. So how do we continue to evolve our combined choicehotels.com platform in such a way that it's integrated across all those different devices?
Your boss was in the paper today.
I know it. I know. And he got it all right.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it was like, you know,
Did you tell him? Did you give him kudos?
You know.
You were there standing behind us. Thank you.
I'm Roseanne Zussman, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Brand Marketing for the Wyndham Hotel Group. And our e-commerce group has been incredibly busy because we were behind the 8 ball for a long time. So we have, in the past 12 months, launched new websites for all of our brands other than Wyndham, who's getting one next month. We have launched new mobile optimized sites, some new mobile-only rates. So there's just a lot going on. There's not one thing. It's just a new concentrated focus on e-commerce that our company really hasn't had prior to this.
I'm Brian Owen with Hershey and Tendon Resorts. We have a lot of digital stuff going on right now. It's sort of that time of year now through the planning for the summer season. So some of the traditional online stuff is internet stuff. We're doing redesign for 2 of our properties that are on the lodge. We're hoping to bring our social media program into a more sophisticated level. We're hiring our first person to sort of building out that whole program around social media and what does that mean to a company like ours. And of course, with the redesigns, you can come some mobile work and things like that. So it's a big thing for one of the things.
Great. Well, welcome. And I believe everyone had the questions beforehand, which makes it easy, right? So you got lots of information to share. So I guess if we could, I'll throw out a question. I think the best way to do it is if someone wants to jump in and then just kind of talk back and forth, and we'll get some great things for our magazine, which we'll we'll have it in print with discussion today as well as online. And the first question I'll throw out is describe how your organization is thinking about online marketing and e-commerce today. So if anyone would like to, don't be shy, don't have to raise your hand, just jump in.
Well, we continually think about it as part of the whole. It's never a separate conversation on, we'll be doing our 4th digital summit, the internal digital summit, to keep us focused on what's next. But it's never thought of other than at that time period. It's always part of the overall part of the whole. Because being a global brand, digital and, we're a little bit different being a destination. We have a lot of third party, whether it's tour operators or OTAs that are really our customers are coming through. Mm-hmm. But we never think of it as here's digital, here's, we have traditional digital, emerging digital, testing digital, online social, but it's always part of the whole. So it's never a separate conversation. It's all part of how we put it together.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with that. And for us, we really look at it more broadly because we feel that the internet adoption or the internet penetration is just growing dramatically in Brazil and China, India. And so as those users are starting to expand, as they start that middle class, it starts to grow. It just has more discretionary income, which of course we all want to spend on travel, which makes our lives easier and better and more fun. So we just really look at that. How can we be in those places, in those international markets? How can we speak to them where they're searching, how they're going to utilize social sites, and specifically about mobile. I mean, most countries will use more mobile than we will. They just adopt faster. So we have to be in that landscape.
That's pretty good.
Sorry about that.
Like Larry King, Charlie.
A lifeline.
Well, we have Chris on the phone, so should we give him a chance here? Chris, are you there?
I am. Sometimes I can hear you well, and sometimes I can't.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for not being there in person.
So this, hi Chris, this is Dave Eisen with Hotel Management Magazine. How are you?
Hey Dave, how are you?
Good, good. So obviously this is Chris Gavilan with, he's the Chief Marketing Officer at Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company. We were just on our first question right now, which was describe how your organization is thinking about online marketing and e-commerce. So since you just called in, you got the answer. So maybe you can give us and you can give us maybe a little bit of some initiatives Ritz-Carlton's going through right now.
Yeah, we'll start right there. I heard some people tossing out some of the things they're focused on. For Ritz-Carlton, much of our growth is international at this point, so over 50% of our hotels in the next couple of years will actually be sitting outside of North America in non-English speaking countries as the primary language. So when you start looking at global reach and the global digital projects that have to evolve over the next 5 or 6 years to put the brand in front of, I think, 25 to 30 different languages, that is a significant effort underway for us. So how do we adapt to a truly global e-commerce platform? Not a small effort. Social, I think I heard probably half people talk about social. If anybody has the answer to social, please send it to me. I would love to have it. But I think, everyone's still trying to understand what role does it play within their marketing efforts. If anybody's seen a great return on it, I'd love to see it. But I think, we're very committed to it, but we're also trying to understand its place and how it fits somewhere between equity, awareness, and actual transactions. And then we're very committed to mobile. Mobile is obviously the new frontier. It's the new sort of connection point for our customers, for all of our customers, and the ability to put that your brand in their pocket and be with them at all times is incredibly important. So I think those are 3 of them. There's probably 20, but all of the list is probably longer than we'll ever get to. But those are some of the things we're focused on today.
Great. So,
what was the second part of your question was what? This first one on the list here, which was how are we thinking about online marketing and e-commerce?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, quite frankly, that we sort of tee it up that way. We actually go out of our way to not think about online or e-commerce versus traditional or print or, whatever it might be. What we really how we come at it is, what are we trying to achieve in the marketplace, and then how are each of these channels or disciplines or techniques or whatever you want to call them going to get us there? How are they going to help us increase engagement with our customer? And so that will vary depending on what continent we're talking about. And, we're focused on about 5 specific geographies because you can't focus on all of them. And so it's playing, every one is going to play a different role depending on how adaptive the environment is for whether it's mobile or social, traditional search, whatever it might be, or whether they are owned channels or channels that we are participating in. So the RichCarlton.com is an incredibly strong and powerful channel. It's one of the largest luxury transaction sites in the business, but it doesn't play the same role in China that it plays in North America. So I think trying to understand how each of those will evolve to meet the overall goals is probably what we spend our time thinking about.
Great. Anyone else want to?
Yeah, I think just the other thing to add is when we talk about unique to online marketing versus other channels, we're trying to sort of shrink the projects we're working on. So just with some of the technologies with A/B testing and all that, we're trying to make it so that we're not so concerned about making huge decisions all at once, but making really quick, constant iterative improvements in the site for conversion rates and things like that. So looking at the tools to help us with that and sort of restructuring the ownership of the property's website so that that's something we're looking at every day, and then doing some more test repeat kind of things.
Right.
That's relatively. I mean, we've always done a little bit of that, but I think it's philosophically a shift for that now.
We constantly focus on the customer and the data. We drive our business. And now the technology is giving the customers more power than ever. You have to chase them around to find wherever they want to look and find you.
Right. And it sounds. Oh, and this is, not a tangent, but it sounds like mobile is where it's going. Is that kind of the consensus around the table? Is that you have to, if you're not there now, you need to make sure that you're going to be there as soon as possible?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Main channel.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be where the guests are, and
Right.
that's where they are. I mean, I was reading something that was startling the other day. It was talking specifically about the adoption of tablet, and basically said there's about 95 million tablets out right now. The expectation is that by 2015 there's going to be 500 million. So you're talking about a 50% CAGR just from a device purchase during that period of time. And just to put that in perspective, there's only 470 million smartphones right now. And so they're saying by 2015, 500 million tablets. And so I think the tablet space is extremely important as it relates to mobile. I think the other important trend to be cognizant of where we sit as hotel suppliers is who is getting that share of those mobile bookings going forward. Because I think another interesting phenomenon that's happening right now is even though the OTAs in the hotel space in general right now have about 8% share, I would say, of all of the hotels that are booked. However, if you just look at that for mobile, it's 44%, right? So the OTAs are much more heavily penetrated in the mobile space than we are as hotel suppliers. And so it's something I think the OTAs, getting quickly penetrated in the mobile space is something for us to be cognizant of. And I think that adoption of tablet technology is another biggie as we're thinking about how should we think about mobile going forward.
Right. I mean, if you talk to all the OTAs, they'll tell you, like, just year over year, from single digit to double digit, right? So channel in mobile. So it's growing very quickly. And I agree, the distinction, there's really not a good fix on the distinction that's emerging between, mobile phone and tablet, right? In terms of different consumer behaviors that are happening, all right? But the volume isn't significant enough. I think that there's a general knowledge that, tablet is this and the phone is that and so on and so forth. So that's all in front of us. But, very quickly, I think, I've told much from now, I think it's just moving a lot faster than people really are aware of, generally speaking. Right?
Didn't the Focusrite just say that within the last 12 months, that about 68% of leisure travelers booked or looked at least one of their trips on their phone, and it's like 71% is business travelers. They're on their phone. So we see it, as you said, that it's mostly the consumers that are using mobile are booking for tonight.
Right.
65% are booking for tonight, and if that most of them are booking on Friday and Saturday. That's why we see, say, Hotel Tonight and really same-day deals have just incredibly increased on the mobile application. More so for longer term because, if you're going to book further out, you want a little bit more time to look on, and which is happens on the traditional online space.
We've kind of observed the tablet use fading off from the on-the-go type of medium to more of a desk tabletop item, So you still do planning on booking there, but it's a different time and space utilization. Consumer behavior-wise between the smartphone and the tablet.
I think also the way people book, so what we're seeing, so once we launch these new mobile optimized sites, we're seeing a lot more business through them, but primarily we're seeing, and I think the number is somewhere, for every one booking that's made on the mobile device, we have 7 reservations that are made through voice, which I think you wouldn't see on the tablet. I bet you if somebody's searching on the tablet, they're actually going to complete the reservation right there. But I think it's also important when you're measuring the effectiveness of mobile that you're not just looking at online bookings. And it might be slightly different because we have such a heavy presence in economy and mid-scale. So there might be some different, booking trends. But I think we were frankly shocked. We knew that some people were going to do the click to call, but we had no idea that the vast majority were actually going to be calling. Luckily, we have proprietary numbers on there and we're able to track it. But I do think it's close to 80 to 90% of all of our mobile bookings are actually being made through voice with proprietary numbers. So, and I don't think you see that on a tablet. Somebody would probably book it all the way through. So even though they're kind of using them, they use them slightly differently.
To your point, Mike, we all knew that mobile was going to grow fast, and we put all these projections out, a year or two ago that seemed really aggressive, and yet we're still totally crushing them. Like you thought you had aggressive. Like I had, a goal to grow mobile revenue up 200%. I mean, the traffic through our mobile platform is up over 1,000% year over year. And so they're just, of course, I'm just getting grief because they're like, you're just a big sandbagger. Okay? Way to accomplish your objectives halfway through the year. You're already done. Nice. But I thought that those goals that we put forth were aggressive, but as it turns out, not even close.
Next year there will be a
It'll write that out.
Yeah,
we were surprised to see the tablet visitation actually higher than the traditional mobile smartphone. And the behavior is closer to like a laptop experience for us than a mobile.
Well, it's easier, right? I mean, it's not so easy to pick up an iPhone, I know, and kind of
do
extensive research. I got to fat fingers, so But I guess on a like you said before, a tablet's the same almost as a regular, your desktop or laptop, same way. So
And you see all of us have the keyboards. So
it's like a computer, right?
Right, and we've actually, you look at, everybody's kind of turned it into that.
Yeah.
It's ways to not travel without
I
try to tap my screen. Yeah, I was borrowing a laptop, and my sister said it's not an iPad.
Well, one of the things too, tracking, just taking a look at is the segment differentials. It'd be interesting to hear, like Chris versus Kelly. With regard to usage, like for the tablet, is luxury, I guess is the question, it's like, is luxury, more time on site?
Right.
Or
even also what user, for, the economy mid-scale brands versus a luxury brand, it's a different consumer.
Well, is it? I mean, it's a different consumer. Right. How far are the behaviors
different? I don't think they're that far apart in terms of what they, kind of devices they own and how they use them. I think that you probably would, people probably aren't going to book a Ritz-Carlton on the fly from their mobile. I mean, they might, but I'm sure it's
well, let's ask Chris while he's here.
Less likely, but people are booking, Super 8s all day long on the fly.
Chris, are people still using?
I think you're doing a great job. Keep going. Yeah, I can't speak for, I can only speak for one side of the equation. We do find that mobile is incredibly powerful. It is growing at a faster rate than we expected. Most people are using other portions of the application besides just direct booking. They're trying to gather information. They're looking for utility, whether they're on-site or they're off-site, they're pre or post. It does take longer to book a Ritz-Carlton transaction, and we knew that from day one. Our reservation talk time for years has been twice what it is at a upper upscale hotel. So because people are asking for restaurants and spa and directions and transportation, and they're coupling that with complicated airfare. It's usually not a one-stop trip. There's usually multiple destinations, whether it's business travel or leisure. So it's just harder to do all of that on a mobile device. So what we find is that they're seeking information or they're seeking content, so they're just kind of generally doing research, and if we can provide that to them, we get them to the site, and the site is where they gather more information or contract or transact, or we still find they like to pick up the phone and call. But when you're picking up the phone and calling for 3 rooms for 7 nights at $800 a night, and you're building in a bunch of airfare, you know, you start looking at a purchase that's $20,000. It becomes sort of something someone says, well, maybe I want to talk to somebody about this. So.
Chris, real quick, online versus traditional travel agent. Can you break that down?
I could. Will I? Probably won't break it down exactly, but online versus traditional. Online is growing around 30% per year, and traditional travel agencies are growing probably around 3 or 4% per year. And they are not quite on common basis. Traditional travel agencies are still a little bit higher, but certainly that will be surpassed by digital in the next couple of years. I mean, it's a 25 to 30% growth rate.